Overwhelm happens in the future. It's never in the actual moment. It's when we're thinking about everything that we need to do, what could happen next, everything that might go wrong, where we start to question, are we even doing the right thing anyway? However, taking a few slow breaths, maybe using some box breathing, can help bring you back to the present moment, to actually being here and feeling again that things are doable. Hello and welcome back to the Art of Value with Spring podcast and our Planisode series, short, focused episodes designed to help you step into the new year with clarity, confidence, and alignment. Now, yesterday we were looking at all of your priorities, and today I want to talk about overwhelm. Because when we start to look at all the things we want to achieve in a year, overwhelm can follow quite quickly. But before we dive into that, I want to remind you to download your planning spreadsheet that goes alongside this series. You can download that completely free at melittacampbell.com/planisodes, and it will support you through step by step. It's also a tool that you can keep for your business planning throughout this year and beyond as well. So, overwhelm. Overwhelm isn't necessarily a sign that you can't do something or that you're trying to do too much, but a sign that you're not clear on what the next step is. It's a sign that you're missing some clarity. And when you're building a values-led business, overwhelm can pull you away from the aligned way that you want to work. It can bring a certain element of stress and pressure that's going to hold us back, but also push us into doing things in a way that feels like, well, I'll just do this, or it doesn't really help us to create a difference and an impact the way that we really want to, a way that's going to feel really proud for us. So we need to manage overwhelm so that it can create inner calm and meaningful progress. And that's really the goal here. So I want to share with you some strategies to help you manage those moments where it just all starts to feel too much. So the first is simply to breathe and come back to the present. Overwhelm happens in the future. It's never in the actual moment. It's when we're thinking about everything that we need to do, what could happen next, everything that might go wrong, where we start to question, are we even doing the right thing anyway? However, taking a few slow breaths, maybe using some box breathing, can help bring you back to the present moment, to actually being here and feeling again that things are doable, focusing you in on what's that one next step rather than thinking about the entire journey at the same time. So take some deep breaths, breathe in for 4, hold it for 5, and then breathe out for 6. And that can calm down your nervous system, bring you back to the present moment, and then ask yourself, what is the simplest next step I can take that's going to move me forward? So we're not thinking about everything. We're thinking about that one next step. And once we take that next step, we're back into action. We're allowing flow to happen. So breathe, bring yourself back down to a moment of calm and presence, and then ask, how could this be simpler? And what's that next step? The second strategy is to build habits around your value creating activities. So I often say, think like a trucker. You know, a trucker gets in his cab in the morning, or her cab, they know the route and they have their map. It's all there laid out ready for them. They just have to turn the key, start the engine, and drive. They don't redecide every time they get into the cab what route they're going to take, what are they going to do. They don't rethink the entire journey. They just follow the process. They follow what they know works, what will get them from A to B. So when you can create simple plans and habits around your value driving activities, those core things that move your business forward and build momentum, when you make those habits things that just happen. So they stop becoming decisions, they stop taking time and energy, they just happen. And with fewer decisions becomes less overwhelm, and things will start to happen in a much more easeful way. So, what are those value adding activities that you need to do on a regular basis? And how can you turn those into habits that you just sit down and get done? So, one thing for me is my LinkedIn. I have made that a habit of in the morning, I'll sit down, open my laptop, have my cup of coffee, and then I'll do my LinkedIn strategy. We've talked about that on the podcast previously about how exactly I manage my LinkedIn presence in 20 minutes a day. And that's how I've made that a habit. I'm not always 100% consistent, but I'm much more consistent than if I left that to chance and tried to decide in the moment each day. Strategy 3 is to ask, how could this be simpler? This is my favorite question to ask myself, and it's really changed the way that I work and the results that I get. So, anytime I feel overwhelmed that this just isn't possible, that I'll never make this happen, I ask this question, but I combine it with a walk in nature as well. I'm very fortunate that I just go to the end of my drive and I'm in the woods, and I have this nice short 20-minute route that I can take with my dog through the woods. And I just ask, how could this be simpler? Then I put the thought out of my head. I don't think about it. And by the time I sit back at my desk, 9 times out of 10, the solution is there. And it's like, oh, I just need to do this. It's incredible to me how often I overthink, overplan, overstructure so many things. So, how can this be simpler? And simpler does not mean smaller. It doesn't mean that it's less impactful. In fact, often the complete opposite. Because you're refining and focusing things on just the action that's going to make the impact and not elaborating too much on that, often it makes it easier for you to do, it's quicker, and it's more impactful. Because often it's that simplest version of your idea that allows your true value to come through uninterrupted. Strategy 4 is to focus on progress, not perfection. Perfection can block impact. It can keep us stuck, overthinking, overworking, rather than focusing on creating momentum step by step. So our progress can build impact. So, one thing I talk about in my book, for example, is the Olympic method. And this is a great way of managing perfectionism. And to do this, all you need to do is go through your to do list and check for each of your tasks, each of your activities listed there, which is gold, silver, or bronze in terms of the amount of effort they should require. Now, before I started using this, I treated every task as a gold level task. I put my best into everything, but some things don't need your best, they just need to get done. So, a gold level task may be a TEDx talk where you really need to get it as perfect as possible, take your time to plan, to structure, to create something amazing. A silver level task may be taking that same idea, maybe that's a webinar that you're giving. It needs to be well structured, it needs to be thought through. You don't want to just wing it, but if you fluff your words a little bit, if there's some ums and ahs, it's not the end of the world. And maybe a bronze is just a LinkedIn Live where you have a post-it note on your computer with 3 words to keep you focused, and you're just going to talk for a few seconds, and it just has to be raw and real and out there and done. So that could be an example of how you can just make sure you're allocating an appropriate amount of time and putting an appropriate amount of effort into every task and not overdoing things. That's going to save you so much time and energy as you move forward. The 5th strategy is to look for time techniques that focus you and work for you. So they may all be different. For example, you have the Pomodoro technique where you have 25 minutes of focus, 5 minutes of break. That works for many people. It didn't work for me. I felt I needed more time to get into the flow, so I doubled it. So I have, I call it like Pomodoro times 2. So I have 50 minutes of focus time and 10 minutes of a break. And that works for me, but it also gives me enough time to do the work that I want to do well. Plus, taking those regular breaks, having that reminder to take a walk around the block, do some stretching, have a drink, taking those regular 10 minutes throughout the day really impacts my focus in a positive way and ensures that by the end of the day, I still have energy. I'm not like dead on my feet at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, like hanging in there desperately and dreaming of my bed. So that makes a difference for me, but maybe something different will work for you. So look at some different time management techniques. In my book, Value Whispering, I do go through some of the different time techniques you can try as well. So try some of these out, experiment with them, see what works for you, what helps you to focus, what helps give you energy, and what suits your energy and rhythm. And then intentionally build that into the way that you work. And my final strategy is, I've kind of alluded to it there, but it's to take breaks before you need them. So if you take a break because you just can't focus anymore, it usually means that the last of 20, 30 minutes, even more, hasn't been terribly productive. So taking those breaks before you need them enable you to stay fresh. It enables you to stay away from overthinking, which happens often when we're a bit too tired or feeling that overwhelm is kicking in. So make sure that you schedule breaks in your day, that you set an alarm on your phone so you take those. As I said, for me, often it's the 50 minutes and a 10-minute break with a longer break for lunch and a longer break in the afternoon or in the morning, depending on the season, to take the dog for a nice walk. And these really help me so much to do better work, to feel focused, to feel I'm in the right place, doing the right thing, and to fight off overwhelm. Because otherwise, I find that I have this overwhelm so quickly, and I see it with my clients as well. So giving yourself breaks, creating that mental white space gives you the clarity that you need to keep moving forward and building that momentum. So today your task is to go to your planning spreadsheet you'll find at melittacampbell.com/planisodes and choose one project right now that feels maybe a little bit heavy or overwhelming and ask yourself, how could this be simpler? And adjust those steps until it feels doable again. And start to look into the time techniques that you could be testing out. And do come and let me know which of these resonated most with you. What are you going to try today or this week to help you manage your overwhelm, to make steady progress and to get into momentum, because that's really where the magic happens. And just remember, you cannot outrun stress. Stress isn't necessarily bad for us. Stress can help us to form our opinions, show us what we're really here for, what we're capable of. It can shape our personalities and ideas. The problems come in when we don't have enough counter stress. So do build in those breaks, do take time, do look for ways to keep things simpler, and do give yourself permission to experiment and find your right way forward. So get your planning spreadsheet to support you at melittacampbell.com/planisodes. And I've also included in there a link to the first chapter of my new book, Value Whispering, which will help bring all of this into context for you, because I believe that your right marketing, messaging, sales process shouldn't be overwhelming. It should be part of the way you do things. And my book outlines that whole strategy for you. So do download a copy of that once you get your planning toolkit. And I have exciting news coming up very soon about the exact launch date of my book, when you can get the entire book in your hands. It's my entire process that I take my clients through, and you can get that in just a couple of weeks. The exact date will be announced soon. Meantime, I will see you tomorrow for the next Planisode. I'm Melitta Campbell, your business coach and value whisperer, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Bye.